for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us, that somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for.
You wanted him to be an immigrant. That's what you wanted. You either wanted him to be a or a Mexican immigrant. Y'all was banking on it. Y'all was like, yes, if he could have just been a Mexican, if he could have just been black, we could have get this race war on and popping. Yeah. No race war for you. It was a 22-year-old white kid whose daddy was a Republican pastor and the whole family were Trump supporters.
Hello guys, it's good to have you here today. My name is Amy and this is Trending Pulse Worldwide, where we take a closer look at stories shaping conversations across the globe. And today's topic is one that has left a lot of people shaken, confused, and even angry. Now, after the shooting of Charliekirk, the governor of Utah stepped forward to confirm the suspect. But it wasn't just a confirmation that caught people's attention. It was the way he chose to phrase it. And he said, I quote, "We were hoping it wasn't one of us, sadly." Now, on the surface, that might sound like a small statement. But when people heard those words, it carried a lot more weight. Because the question immediately became, what did he mean by one of us? Was he suggesting that he didn't expect the shooter to be a white person? Was he quietly implying that maybe a black person was more likely to be guilty? That single statement has created a storm of backlash. So let's first take a look at some of the reactions from everyday Americans who heard the statement. Then I'll be back and we can talk about it.
Bro, ain't this some shit? The fact that the governor from Utah says that he's sad that the shooter, and he's mad that the shooter in Utah was a white person from Utah. I don't think he said white, but we all know that if it was a black person from Utah, he wouldn't have gave a damn. The fact that it was a white male from Utah that did that heinous act, that's why he's upset, and that's why it's a problem. He said he'd rather have been a Muslim or something, or a foreigner, or somebody from another state. That's racism just right there in your face. Like, you can't hide it. That got to be some type of HIPAA violation or some kind of discrimination act or something.
To the Utah governor, why do you need it to be someone else? I mean, we know why, but I just want to hear it from you. I hope a reporter follows up on that you were hoping that it was a foreigner or someone that wasn't a part of your community and it wasn't one of you guys. I'm very curious at how we're going to approach that line of questioning. Now, you did mention the death penalty. My question is, are you still about the life?
So the governor of Utah saying that he prayed for 33 hours, that he wished that it was not one of them. He sat there and said that he prayed for 33 hours that the alleged gunman, was not one of theirs. He wanted them to be an immigrant so bad, a person of color so bad that he prayed for 33 hours that it was not one of them. I know we all heard what we heard. And come to find out, it was one of him. Clock it. I would do my little finger clip, but I got popsicle in my hand. Clock that. Sir, yeah, it was one of yours. What did you think? Who did you think? Who could you possibly have thought it was? You think black people, brown people, is going to sit up there with a high-power rifle on somebody's rooftop? First of all, we burn in the sun as well. Okay? Why would we sit on somebody's rooftop to unalive somebody? because they have a difference of opinion. If you have a difference of opinion, you have a difference of opinion. We've never stopped people from having a difference of opinion. The only thing that we want is equal rights. That's it. Equal rights. Fair treatment. Accountability for the things that has taken place. But nah. You say, oh, I prayed for 33 hours that the gunman, the alleged gunman, was not one of ours. My God, today, if they not telling us who they are and we not believing them at this point, there is something wrong with us. Believe what people tell you the first time.
No, but for real, I need Christians to explain to me what the governor of Utah meant when he said, I was praying to God that it was not one of us. Look, I grew up in a Pentecostal church. My grandfather was a bishop. My brother's a preacher. My other grandfather's a preacher. I got cousins, preachers. I've heard a lot of sermons in my life. I've heard a lot of prayers. I was in church every day from 0 to 21. I love my church family. I don't go to church anymore, but I love my church family. I love my people. Pentecostal Church of God in Christ. I've never heard a person say what that governor of Utah said. I prayed to God that it was not one of us. I prayed that it was someone from a different state who had driven into our state, or someone from a different country. What? So this is for Christians. People who call themselves Christian. What did that man mean by that? Was he hoping that it was a non-white person? Because that's how I heard it. I heard it as being a non-white person first, and then a non-American second, presumably someone from a different country, which is so odd coming from Mormon territory, because Mormons go into other countries, but South American and Central American countries that are Latino people, and work to convert them to Mormonism. What did he mean by that?
So what you're hearing in those reactions reflect the frustration that many people feel, and not just about this case, but about the way race still shapes narratives in America. And the reality is, when something tragic happens, people expect leaders to bring clarity, right? Reassurance and unity. But instead, this governor's choice of words only deepened suspicion. And to many Black Americans, it felt like an echo of old stereotypes. The kind of stereotypes that have historically linked their community to crime, regardless of facts or evidence. And honestly speaking, it wasn't just Black Americans who found it offensive. Even white Americans also spoke out, saying they were uncomfortable with the phrasing and the division it created. Because truthfully, leadership isn't about pointing fingers or separating groups of people. It's about calming a tense situation and making sure that everyone feels seen and respected. Now, so many things happened earlier. There were protests that erupted as well, with chants like "white men fight back." And that shows you just how charged the atmosphere was. And people weren't just reacting to the shooting, they were reacting to the way the narrative around the shooting was being shaped. And I don't know if they expected the suspect to be, persons of color. I don't know, because why say white man fight back? Even before that person was confirmed, they had a suspect who was a white person. So why chant that? And something else, the HBCUs were also shut down because of threats. Why? Is it because they thought that the people of color were the ones who are responsible, It's so crazy, because Black people are the people who are always are the people who are always blamed, with or without evidence. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Was this just a careless mistake, or did it expose something deeper about how America still views race and crime? Because when a governor speaks, people listen, and words have power. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think the backlash is justified, or are people reading too much into his statement? Drop your opinions in the comments and let's open up on this conversation. I really want to hear your perspectives and let's have this discussion together. And before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Trending Pulse Worldwide for more trending stories just like this one. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. My name is Amy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay blessed.